We got an announcement. Let's go. We're early today. We're early today because we got a big announcement from Brad Garlinghouse that could reshape our entire lives. So let's better understand what's going on. And man, you can't wipe this smile off my face today. It's ear to ear. So let's just check in with the chat here. We got Amanda M first here. Great to see you, Amanda. Thank you so much for being here. We got Astro Matt. I can't see your name, brother. I do apologize, but I appreciate you being here. Tristan Baker is here. Tristan, thank you so much for being here. Good, beautiful, good morning to you, Sensei. We are moonbound. I'd love to hear it, man. I'd love to hear it. XRP Darling is here. I got you, XRP Darling. Don't you worry. Ben Smith. What's up, Ben? How you doing? Thanks for being here. Great to see you, Ben. DJ, great to see you. How are you? Man, we got a bunch of people dropping in today. Case drop. Let's go. Let's go. All right. All right. I can say hello to you for half an hour. So let's just get into why we're all here today. Ah, man, can you feel the excitement in the air? I definitely can. So let's just pull this up. All right. So I think it all started with this. Okay. This was put out. The 26th. What's today's date? 27th. So this was put out yesterday. So it was just a little typo up here, but it says Judge Torres just gave them two options. So Judge Torres denied Ripple, the SEC's motion. And so she basically said, hey, you guys need to just drop the appeals or move forward with the case. And 73% of people that voted, there's 5,000 votes here. They just wanted to end the case. And so Brad Garlinghouse did see this and said just the 74% of you that clicked end the case were right. And then Brad Garlinghouse just tweeted this moments ago. This is a few minutes ago. Ripple is dropping our cross appeal, and the SEC is expected to drop their appeal. And that they previously said we're closing in this chapter once and for all and focusing on what's most important, building the internet of value. This is fantastic, fantastic news. Man, can I get a like in the chat, guys? We are just streaming here on YouTube today, so it's all going to rely on you to like and share the space if you possibly can. We want to get people in here to enjoy this with us. But how you guys feeling after seeing this? Aloha from the Valley Isle. Great to see you. Aloha. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. What do you guys think, man? Can XRP sell to corporations if they're both drop appeals? You know what, Matthew? That's a good thing. Let's look into that together, man. Let's research that together. So let me show you how I would research this. Okay. So let's see here. We would copy and paste this from Brad Garlinghouse, right? The statement here. Let's throw this into Perplexity. And so we're gonna bring this up here. And so your question was, can XRP sell to corporations if they both drop appeal? So Brad Garlinghouse just tweeted this out. If both Ripple and the SEC drop their appeals, can Ripple sell to companies or institutions? And I spelled that wrong. Sweet deal. I got to move to my new computer. All right, let's see what that says. Let's pull this up. Man, you gotta love AI, just throws it all together for you. All right. With Brad Garlinghouse confirming that Ripple is dropping its cross appeal and the SEC expected to drop theirs as well. After the years-long battle, Ripple and the SEC is effectively ending. This development raises the question, can Ripple now sell directly to companies or institutions? So here directly to answer your question, because this is how we do it live here, Matthew. It says, George Torres ruling remains. So what does this mean? The most recent court ruling, which found that Ripple direct sales of XRP to institutional investors constituted unregistered securities offerings, still stands. Judge Torres also imposed an injunction restricting Ripple from making such sales unless they comply with securities laws. So the injunction status, both Ripple and the SEC attempted to have the court lift the injunction and reduce penalties, but Judge Torres denied that request. As of now, the injunction remains in place, meaning Ripple still is restricted from making direct institutional sales unless the injunction is formally lifted. Now, I saw somebody say Ripple, can Ripple sell to institutions outside of the USA? Can Ripple sell escrowed? Well, I guess it really doesn't matter if it's escrowed or not. Let's see what this says. let's see here. Ripple can sell XRP to institutions outside of the United States, provided it complies with the laws and regulations of those specific countries. So if you're like a bank and you wanted to buy XRP from Ripple, you would just need to do that with like a subsidiary outside of the United States. It sounds like it does sound like the judge's, ruling is still going to apply here. But there are some other options for Ripple. So thank you for the question. I'm glad we could answer that live on the chat. They will be sold to the US government. I mean, a lot of people say that, I don't know. So if you wanted to sell or give XRP to the US government, they would need to have money to do that. And so unfortunately, all of the steps that Trump has taken recently for, a Bitcoin fund and these type of things, it doesn't have any taxpayer money behind it. This is why they're try to come up with like other solutions to raise money to do this, to buy Bitcoin, because if you want to use taxpayer funds to do anything, you need to have it approved through Congress and the Senate. And that is not the steps that he took directly. So, they're going to have to figure out a way around that. So right now, the US government can't buy XRP, can't buy Solana, can't buy ADA because there's no money earmarked for it. Now that could change. Obviously, getting Congress involved in the United States would maybe open up those doors and windows and everything to allowing that to happen. But right now, they don't have the current funds to do that. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Man, we got a lot of XRP people in the name. We got people here from England. What's up, kiddies? Nice to see you. 1990. Good year. Good year. Let the bull run get started. Great to see you, Ade. Thank you so much for being a member here. I really appreciate your support. Fedwire to go live. So like, this is also something that I address, guys. If you're not, I know that your time is limited and you cannot watch, tens of hours of content a day. And I really appreciate all the support you guys show me on my content. I have been addressing the ISO migration of Fedwire in July, July 14, 2025. I've been addressing that in a lot of my videos. What people are failing to tell you, or maybe you know this and maybe you don't know this, but right now there's already millions of transactions happening per day right now with under the ISO messaging format, the new ISO 20022, and not many of those it looks like are being used or settled with crypto. We cannot get the actual data because as these transactions are being sent, they're not really tracking who's using crypto for settlement and who's not. Will that change in the future? I absolutely think that'll change in the future, but saying like July 14th, we're headed to the moon, I just don't want to get people's hopes up. I've seen so many dates come and go in the crypto space and a lot of broken hearts. Personally, me, I've like broken 1,500 hearts, getting married to a date saying this is going to happen. So just, have that flexibility in your mind that don't give up. If July 14th comes and XRP, doesn't go insane, just, understand that could be a sell the news event. People could be taking profit on that time too. So, is $20 out of the question? I mean, if you ask somebody like Jake Claver, I mean, he thinks the world can happen in 2025. I wish I had a crystal ball. I wish I could just like tap the seal on the head here and get what is going to be at the end of the year. It's hard to know, but you have a convergence of so many amazing things happening right now. With the Ripple and SEC case being put to bed, that will allow spot ETFs to get approved. Like that, I believe that's one of the biggest hurdles that Ripple's, or XRP has had to face in the United States, is waiting for the SEC to approve those spot ETFs. Now, we did have 3 getting approved in Canada, our neighbors up north there. And I think they are setting the tone for the rest of the markets. And, that could be hugely beneficial going forward to take more XRP off the open market. I also made a video today, which will come out probably tomorrow, that gets into like how much XRP is being bought off exchanges. What's the difference over the last maybe 12 months? Are we seeing a big decline in XRP available on exchanges? And the answer is yes. Ariana's here. Great to see you, Ariana. Thank you so much for being here. Vodkagan. That is a very unique name. Great to have you here with us, Vod. What will buying on exchange do? I think, are you talking to somebody else in the chat here? Let's see. Ripple can sell if they get an exemption from the SEC. Yes, that is true, but they would need to get an exemption to do that, and they would need to follow securities laws. And I don't know how. Like, I'm not a securities lawyer, and I don't know what the ramifications would be in all of that. So we have to see how all of that will go. Appreciate you, Kenny. Thank you so much for saying people hit the like button. Appreciate that. Man, we just got so much really cool news today here. I want to show you some other stuff. I like it. I like it too. Thank you, Bitcoin crew, for being here. Appreciate you. Thanks for the live news. Absolutely. We have a lot of new faces in the chat, which I really love to see. We got people here from Northern Ireland, my home country. I'd love to have you. My mom is 100% Irish, and my dad's side, I think, was like 50 or something like that. So I'm very, very Irish, if you can't tell. Make it simple for the kids. We're trying to do all that, but great to see all of you. I did want to play a few other things here. If you guys are cool with that, let's go ahead and pull up. So if you're just now joining us, if you missed the news here, Brad Garlinghouse announced today that Ripple is dropping the cross appeal and that the SEC is expected to drop the cross appeal. Wouldn't it be hilarious? I mean, it wouldn't be hilarious. I would be super depressed if the SEC was like, oh, Ripple dropped their cross appeal, and then they continued with their appeal. Damn, I don't want to jinx it. Oh man, knock on wood. Okay. We'll forget I said that, but that's some pretty exciting news. I did want to show you a few other things that are happening. If you missed this clip here, Donald Trump is talking about basically the next bull run is coming soon. If you missed this clip, let me go ahead and just play a little bit of this, and we'll go from there.
Bills passed in the next few months.
Well, it's a very funny thing, crypto. So I became a fan of crypto, and to me, it's an industry. I view it as an industry, and I'm president. And if we didn't have it, China would, or somebody else would, but most likely China. China would love to. And we've dominated that industry. It's a big industry, by the way. In fact, when the stock market went down recently, crypto and Bitcoin and all of that went down much less than anybody else as a group. And we've created a very powerful industry, and that's much more important than anything that we invest in. We invest in it, but really that was an industry that wasn't doing particularly well. I got involved with it a couple of years ago, and before the second term, I got involved before I decided to run. I only decided to run because I saw what was happening, and Biden was incompetent, and the administration was crooked and incompetent. And I was in Bitcoin then, not knowing if I was going to do it a third time. So it's become amazing. I mean, it's the jobs that it produces. And I notice more and more you pay in Bitcoin. I mean, people are saying it takes a lot of pressure off the dollar, and it's a great thing for our country. So I don't care about investing. You know, I have I have kids, and they invest in different things. They do believe in it, but I'm president, and what I did do there is build an industry that's very important. And you know, if we didn't have it, China would.
Okay. You know, some of the stuff he said there, important. Some of the other stuff he said there might be kind of, Trump's been in office for since January. So it's been January, February, March, April, May, June. We're coming up on 6 months. He is saying he built the, crypto innovation in America that was happening, for the last decade. He has definitely opened up some new ways for companies to build. I would like to see some more direct help from the government to help out American crypto companies. I think that was the original goal when the Trump administration was formed, that they were going to help like XRP, ADA, Solana, and other American crypto companies. We haven't seen follow through on that particular part, but having the American president come up there and say he's bullish on Bitcoin, and that's really good news for the entire industry here in America and of course abroad. So, whenever Trump speaks, sometimes, some of the stuff he says is great. Some of the other stuff I kind of question as, what's it called? But we always need to do this. We need to question anyone that's, making political statements or any of this stuff just to verify what they're saying. And it's great to have him out there. I did want to show you this clip though. If you want to know why Trump and his, everybody in his administration is so pro Bitcoin and you don't really hear them talking about anything else right now, is because of this clip. Listen to this. So this is a Trump insider, and there's some really key points to this clip. Let me play it.
Sure is. In my book, The Truth About Crypto, which was a #1 Amazon bestseller, that was in 2021, just 4 years ago. And I said 1%. Today, I'm saying 40%. That's astonishing,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Nobody ever anywhere has said such a thing as what I'm saying now. Why the shift? It's because of the massive change in the evolution of crypto that we've enjoyed in the past 4 years. 4 years ago, we didn't know if governments were going to ban Bitcoin. We didn't know if the technology would become obsolete. We didn't know if consumers might not want to adopt it. We didn't know if there'd be any institutional engagement. Today, all those questions are resolved. In the Trump administration, in the new Congress, there is massive support for crypto. Every member of the president's cabinet personally owns Bitcoin. Every major economic appointee of the president, the secretaries of Treasury, Commerce, Department of Labor, the heads of the SEC, CFTC, OCC, FDIC, all of them huge supporters of crypto. There's no longer a question as to whether the government likes this or not and is going to support the development. We also now see institutional investors engaging in ways never seen before. Banks are now permitted for the very first time, along with brokerage firms, to trade and custody crypto, which they could never do before. Stable coins are now Goldman calls it the killer app of crypto. We now have a huge array going in. And in fact, the first legislation out of Congress is crypto legislation, the Genius Act. So it has radically changed. It is now a mainstream asset. And we look at the adoption rate, it's still incredibly low. It's only about 5% of the global population that own crypto at this stage. As more and more get involved, learn about it, discover it, and invest in it, we're going to see massive asset inflows. And because, and certainly in the case of Bitcoin, it's a fixed supply asset, the more people who buy it, the higher the price is going.
All right. So listen, what you're basically saying here, guys, is crypto's going higher, right? You're having institutions that used to put like 1% into crypto. Now they're looking at 3%, 5%. If you listen to this gentleman, 40% of people's net wealth. Imagine 40% of, there's trillions of dollars sitting on the sideline. And if this money starts to come into the crypto market, it could just be lights out for a lot of us. So a lot of really cool things said in that. We'll see how all of this pans out. Obviously, we need to make sure that Congress in the United States follows through with regulation for stablecoins and the Genius Act, as well as if we can get crypto regulation. I've seen some people in the administration say that we could be looking at crypto regulation in the United States as early as September. That is a bold statement. We'll have to see if they can actually follow through with that. They are going to need to work together, both sides. And, maybe this could be the kickoff of some, great work between both houses and both bodies of government here in the United States. Dance. Man, a lot of really cool stuff happening. Supply shock. I did a video about supply shock, actually. Let me see if I can actually pull up some of that data here. My computer was like running on the fritz today. Actually, I do have that data. Okay, here, you want to see it? You want to see it? Okay, here, I got you. All right, so let me pull this up here for you. Man, every time I do a live stream, I kind of like sneak in some of the stuff that's in my, content that hasn't got out yet. So you guys kind of get a special look at, what is coming like tomorrow. Let me just pull some other data here just to give you the full comparison. And there's some really cool wormhole information too. I don't know if you guys have seen those updates, but I will go through that too with you. Here you go. Okay, so I don't know if you guys saw this community post. Let me just make sure this is, nope, see, I'm not even sharing the right thing. All right, so Skittles is asked about supply shock on the with XRP. So just to show you what we're talking about here is this right here, the silent supply squeeze. So okay, just take a second here. Let's slow down, okay? Over the last 6 months, right? Since November. So it's been like 7-8 months, right? Ever since we realized that we were going to get a pro crypto president and administration, the demand for assets has gone up, right? Just people speculating on the assets. But also what you're seeing is you're starting to see companies starting to set up different strategies for different crypto assets. And a lot of it's been Bitcoin related or Bitcoin heavy, but we're now starting to see companies interested in XRP related treasuries or XRP related treasury services, whether you're using XRP for settlement or you're using Ripple custody, or that you're just wanting to buy and hold this asset for the long term. we're seeing more of that. So I think in the last few months, we've seen about 9 or 10 companies come forward with over $1 billion promised. Now, $1 billion promised and $1 billion delivered is two different things. So please understand that just because a company says that they're planning on doing this doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to follow through. I think if we looked at the history of people saying that they're going to do something, you know, a lot of the time that sometimes things don't line up and they're not able to follow through. But this is just the start of this intense supply pressure that we are going to see. So as the supply decreases and the demand increases, we are going to see the price of XRP starting to go up. You have ISO adoption, you have the SEC injunction limits for direct sales. And so this person, Diana, is pointing out a few things here. So they point out the judge Judge Torres's ruling, and this is why it matters. Institutions that want large XRP positions, now they need to buy from exchanges or OTC desks or dark pools, right? And then it says, what about the escrow? Ripple's unlocks 1 billion XRP programmatically, slowly across exchanges. So no bulk dumping. Yes, visible drip feed selling is what they're saying. Of course, the ISO 20022 mic drop, the big backdoor starting July 2025, Fedwire Swift, fully ISO 20022. RippleNet is natively ISO compliant and banks upgrade. Integrating Ripple becomes easier. Talks about global payment pipes are being rebuilt quietly. If XRP gets real institutional use, banks, fintechs, and payment corridors will need XRP liquidity. With Ripple limited on direct sales, they'll turn to the open market. Now, remember, this is to institutions in the United States. They can obviously sell whatever they want globally as long as they abide by whatever rules that is in their country. And so this person is saying timeline, short term, unlikely to moon, legal risk, slow adoption. They obviously put this out yesterday before we got the clarification today. And then it talks just at the bottom here, it talks about what to look out for: ODL volume, ISO integrations, RippleNet corridors, and appeals process. And then Dark Horse also said something really important here that I think we should mention. It says Ripple can sell to institutions, just have to be open about it, and when it is in the United States. Likely, they said in court case, most of the ODL customers were moved to another sub company in another country. It's only US transactions, OTC, that is under scrutiny. So that is a very important part to know. So I wanted to just look at the data on this. Like, is the supply of XRP actually decreasing on exchanges? And I was able to pull up this post from Chad Steingraber from, this is from July 21st, 2024. So we almost have a complete year of data here, right? So we're almost in July. We're less than 25 days away from this exact data being 1 year. And so they pulled up the, Ripple 1, Upbit, Binance 1, Ripple 2, Uphold 1, Uphold 2, Binance 2, and some unknown wallets here, and then Bitbank. And so I wanted to put this information into Perplexity, and I also wanted to look at today's numbers on these wallets to see if there has been a decrease. So here is that data. You basically have here exchange balance June 19, 2024. Here is what we're looking at. And then, of course, looking at today's date of June 27, 2025, here is the updated numbers. And as you can see, here are the key differences and trends. On Upbit, going 2024 to 2025, you have a decrease in 255 million XRP. In Binance, you have a decrease of 843 million XRP, Bitbank negative 49 million decrease in XRP, and Uphold 233 million XRP gone. What you're experiencing here is a big demand for XRP supply. So we are starting to see that in the numbers, which is looking pretty zesty. Ripple can still sell direct. I think we've worked that out, that they just need to be transparent. They need to follow securities laws and whatever those laws are laid out. Wasn't today? No, today was July 14th. It was pushed to July 14th. That is the migration date for Fedwire. Fedwire processes, I believe the last time I looked, it was like 4.2 trillion a day. Let's see if we can pull up that data just so we can make sure that we are giving you, make sure that I'm giving you the right information. How much value does Fedwire process per day? man, I need to switch to my new laptop. Let's see here. 4.3 trillion. See, I was very close. I said 4.2. It looks like it's gone up a bit year over year, but they process 4.3 trillion. Now, please understand that just because ISO is going doesn't mean they're going to use crypto right off the bat. I think if you remember listening to like the Bank of America CEO and a few of these other big bank CEOs, they are really waiting for real regulation and clarity before they start to enter this fully. So will this all happen on July 14th? You know, I'll leave it up to you to decide. But you know, don't get married to dates in crypto, because I've been let down so many times, and I'm sure you guys have too. So you know what I'm talking about. I'm surprised the price hasn't gone up. Well, so you know, a tweet from Brad Garlinghouse saying that they're going to do this doesn't mean it's happened yet. It means that this is what their intentions are. But you still, like, you know, you are watching this live. There's probably millions of other XRP holders that are at work right now, or they're doing something that have no idea that this has been tweeted out. And so it's going to be a learning curve for everybody to catch up with what's happening. But I'm glad you said something about that. Give me 1 second. I have been fighting a cold, and I have been getting my butt kicked by this cold. Will the NDA start coming out now? So you must have missed my video about this. Okay. I researched, you know, a lot of people have been talking about 1,700 NDAs. And actually, if you research this, let me show you this. This is something that's pretty cool that you can look at. So first, let's pull up the information. 1,700 NDAs, Ripple, XRP. So if you just pull this up, you're going to get some information here. Okay, this is what I wanted to show you. Look on the screen here. Notice the word it uses here. It doesn't say NDAs. It says contracts. In Discovery, the parties produced over 1,700 contracts. Now, some of these are NDAs. Absolutely. But some of these are just regular contracts. So that's important to know. So let me just pull this. What we're going to do is we're going to save this photo. Okay. We are going to go to Perplexity. We're going to upload the photo here. So this is something that, you know, I'm showing you guys live how I would like fact check something or research something in real time, just to kind of, you know, help. My goal is to help you be better at researching and help you learn more quickly so you can be more effective out here. Okay. So this is what we would do. We would pull the picture in. We would click here, local files. Ooh, hold on. Let me go. Local files. Yeah, here we go. Where is it? Did I not save it? I might not have saved it. Hold on 1 second. My bad. Let me go back here. Save image. Oh, it's under downloads. That's why. Desktop. Save. Okay, cool. Now we should have it. Local files. Here it is. Okay. Is this 1,700 NDAs? What contracts are they referring to? Okay, let's see. I remember researching this. It wasn't 1,700 NDAs. It was like a mixture of things. So let me just pull this up here. Okay, here you go. The 1,700 contracts referenced in the document are not all non-disclosure agreements. Oh, what'd I do? Misclick. Sorry. Okay, my bad. Okay, not all these are non-disclosure agreements. Instead, that they are a set of specific commercial agreements by which Ripple transferred XRP to contractual counterparties such as banks, financial institutions, and companies. And so, if you can see here, the 1,700 contracts are direct transfer contracts. They are trading agreements. They are compensation agreements. And then there is also miscellaneous agreements, other contracts that they do not fit the above category. So they're not all NDAs. Just want you to be very clear on that, because I know there's a lot of like, you know, it's not misinformation, right? It's just people have framed that a certain way that it looks like there's this massive amount of NDAs that is going to be released. And, you know, I just want you to have the actual facts. And so I hope that helps you clarify about the NDAs. All right. Let's see here. Is Taurus holding up the whole crypto market or just XRP? Just XRP, and she's not holding it up. Like, I think that's a misconception, right? She gave clarity for XRP as not a security. That was like in 2023, right? Or start of 2024. So I mean, the SEC and Ripple case is holding up the use of maybe Ripple products in the United States. Bank of America, let's say, wanting to use, ODL or something like that involves XRP. That is something that has been held up, but it's not holding up the rest of the market at all. No. Yeah, man. Yeah. Sorry. I'm trying to power through this. I was in bed the last 2 days. I've not been feeling good, so I do apologize. Wait until the poor gets off work. Hey, Bobby, let's not shit all over our fellow crypto people. Yeah. July 14th, the price of XRP does not move. Yeah, I think July 14th, you're going to have a lot of people expecting XRP to boom. And when it doesn't, I think some people will get pissed off and sell. I actually think that July 14th, the price of XRP could go down. I could be freaking crazy. And I've been called that before, but that's a real possibility. I just want you to be prepared for it. I don't want to set expectations here that, that are just unreasonable expectations. And I think last 5 years, I've seen so many promises of dates, and this is going to moon on this specific date, and it never does. And so, I'm just playing the odds here of another date coming and going. Now, if you research ISO payments right now, there's over 2 million payments a day using the new ISO messaging in Europe, in those types of places, overseas. And so, if you think that just because ISO messaging is live, that it is going to impact crypto right away, I think we are seeing the opposite of that, right? We're seeing millions of payments going through a day without the use of XRP or any of these other things. But in the future, that is the only messaging standard that you're going to be able to move crypto with instant settlement. So, will it start to pick up? I absolutely think it will. I just don't want people to get married to the date, yo. Damn, we have some really sensitive people in the chat today. Take a deep breath, everybody. It's going to be okay. All right. Sensei, what's up with the big news? Yeah, here, Trad to win. Thank you for being here, man. Check this out. So you have Brad Garlinghouse tweeted this out earlier, just like an hour ago, man. This is 11:05 a.m. Sorry, this is almost 2 hours ago. Said Ripple is dropping its cross appeal, and the SEC is expected to drop theirs. So this means like the case should finally be over soon. We don't know how long it takes to drop the appeal, and I mean, I'd imagine. Let's just fucking find out. Actually, if Ripple and the SEC drop their appeals, how long will that take? How long will that take the courts to finalize the case? Like, how long until the case is over, right? That's what we want to know. If both Ripple and the SEC drop their appeals lawsuit, the process for the courts to finalize the case would likely be swift, but not instantaneous. So this is why you're probably not seeing a huge jump in the price right now. Here's how the timeline would unfold. Ooh, spicy. I should do a video about this too, right? What happens when the appeals are dropped? Both parties must formally notify the appeals court, the Second Circuit, that they are withdrawing their appeals process and cross appeals. The appellate court will then issue an order dismissing the appeals. The case returns to the district court, which is Judge Torres, for a final administrative actions, such as lifting injunctions or releasing escrowed funds if required by the settlement terms. Estimated timeline of finalization. Legal experts predict that once both parties drop their appeals, the court process finalizes 30 to 60 days. So that is basically what we will be looking at for the finalization of this 30 to 60 days. Obviously, anything could happen. And, I hate to say that it's going to continue to keep going. But we're finally at the place where we're getting somewhere, guys. So, yes, it's not gone yet, but it is getting there, Ross. Like we are on the final, when you've been on a long flight for like 12 hours or 15 hours, if you've ever taken a long flight that's like 12 or 15 hours, you start to be like, man, is this half over, right? When's like the last 2 hours? And then you're like, oh, we're starting to finally descent. So we've gone through the entire flight. We've had our meals, we've had the, oh man, I just started thinking about, United, they have Sundays in never mind. The Sundays are so good. If you ever had a Sunday on a United flight, you know what I'm talking about. But we're kind of coming in for landing here. So I think it's been a very stressful. What is this? We're going on 5 years. In December 2025 would be 5 years. So it's been 4.5 years that we've dealt with this. Almost the entire time I've owned XRP, we've dealt with this. So it's going to be different, right? Like this is good and this is bad. This is good and this is bad. And I'll explain why I think that. It's good that we're going to finally have the clarity that we need for banks that, said that they want to use the products. Now there would be nothing holding back those banks from using the products. Now, if we get the clarity and banks still don't use the products, that could be bad, right? Now, I'm not saying that, but I'm trying to give you both perspectives here, right? I try to, be on both sides of it to try to give you both sides of the argument so you can kind of see where like my thought process is on it. But I think this is going to bring more good than harm in the end, but it will put tremendous pressure on Ripple and the company to finally deliver here in the United States. And I think they're up to the task personally. I really do. Never married to a date. See, I like that. TBY Woods. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. Did you say the word never? I often do. XRP will explode. I mean, all of the stuff that we've been through, like, I mean, take a look around. It doesn't matter if you've been here for 10 years, you've been here for 5 years, you've been here for 1 year. You're sitting next to and you're in a chat with people that have been going through the same thing with you, right? And it's been taxing. I'm sure you've had conversation with your friends and your family that you've told about XRP because, you are the base for XRP. You are the XRP army. And I'm sure that you've had to have a lot of weird conversations with your friends and family, saying, when is the case going to be over? When is this going to go up? And it's like, we're finally getting to that point where, you're going to be proven right in all of these things. And anyways, if you told your friends and family to buy XRP at like 25 cents or 30 cents, and now it's at, $2 and something cents, it's pretty good. Bitcoin dominance is trending up. We need that to break down for our alts. Yeah. So if this is your first bull market, Bitcoin has to top out really before you start really getting crazy movement in alts. And usually it'll go Bitcoin to Ethereum. Ethereum will top out a bit, and then it'll be like alts and then meme coins. And then once you see alts starting to top out and meme coins, like people's grandmas are coming into the crypto market to buy meme coins, that is the sign to like find an exit. Like that's what I'll be looking for, to find an exit for some of my altcoins. And then the game will be trying to sell close to the top. And then once the market bottoms out again, getting back into some of these positions as the market bottoms out. And I know there's some traders that short the market. I'm just not, I'm not well versed on shorting assets. And so I'm not going to try to begin to try to, talk about it or try to educate you on something that I don't feel comfortable doing. So Zelphernines here. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Lucky I have no friends or family. Hey, Bobby, let's do this. Let's bring down the captions, right? Let's bring down the captions. We can talk in regular voices here, but I appreciate you being here, my friend. See, because like once everyone's going to start talking in captions, and then it's just going to be a mess in the chat. So let's just, wait till China wakes up with the news in Japan. So like South Korea, right? South Korea is one of the biggest markets for XRP. That's XRP besides Bitcoin in South Korea is like the #1 crypto, right? See, look at this. Hawaii Rider. After 3 years, I've heard the case was over. I don't believe it. Fair enough, brother. Fair enough. Have you heard of the boy who cried wolf? I feel that, but like I'm not saying it though. It's Brad Garlinghouse that's saying it. So, I mean, if you want to take him at his word, you can do that. If not, just wait. Just wait for the updates, my friend. All I can say. If it ever bottoms again, I mean, in 2021, when I was my first bull market, I didn't think anything was coming back down. And I found it real freaking quick that it does come back down. And you got to remember that, we haven't had a major black swan event recently. If you remember back in 2022, you had Terra Luna, then you had FTX. And both of those things, within a certain time period of each other were catastrophic for the crypto market. So, are one of those events in the future? Absolutely. Something like that is going to happen again. Just that we don't know at what scale and how much will be affected. But, you always got to plan for the worst here. Oh, you're good, man. Thank you. Thank you for fixing that. I really appreciate it. Some people will listen, some people don't. And so you are somebody that listened, and I really appreciate you. Thank you. So here we go. Robert M says they're actually using XRP right in South Korea. So they're in South Korea buying crypto off an exchange. XRP is one of the number one. It's either Bitcoin or XRP, but you know what? Let's what is more popular? South Korea. Bitcoin or XRP? Oh my goodness. Recent data shows multiple reports consistently that shows that XRP Ripple is more popular than Bitcoin. There you go. There you go. Right there. If I need to zoom in for you so it's a little bit more clear, that's what I was talking about here. People in South Korea love XRP, absolutely love it. So that's really cool. That's a really cool figure to know, right? Yeah, shorting can get pretty crazy. I have a friend, a good friend that I was, neck to neck with in the last bull market, fighting the good fight, trying to find new projects in DeFi. And he built a considerable war chest, and he lost his considerable war chest in one move. So, if you're going to short the market, you need to know what you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to have much left after. So, just be very cautious about all of the ramifications that can come with trying to short the market. And you definitely want to talk with a financial advisor or somebody that is qualified to talk to you about that. We got Dale here, Dale Smith from Australia. What's up, Dale? Glad to be here with you, brother. Should be the Brad who cried wolf. Fair enough. But, Brad doesn't usually come out and say something unless that's going to happen, though. I mean, I've always seen Brad to be kind of an upstanding, gentleman in the space. I don't know him personally, but just from the interviews that I've watched, I've spent a lot of time watching Brad Garlinghouse interviews. I've probably more than most. And I think the dude's a stand-up guy, and I'm glad he's the one leading the ship at Ripple, So, oh man, we got all these people from Australia. Great to see you, Ian. Good day from Brisbane, Australia. Love the show. I'm going to buy a big boat and come live in Florida when my XRP goes to the moon. All right, man. You want to party, right? You want to party. That's why you want to go to Florida. But hey, if you get a big boat, make sure that you take a trip out to Hawaii one day, and we'll go out on the water together, man. I'd really like that. But I can't wait, man. I hope you get the biggest boat, and I hope you invite me to one of your parties, because I really would like to go. Black Swan is straight legit. I think we need to that's something that I've been thinking about more often, right? When you have such a good period in crypto, you start to wonder, is the floor going to fall out below you, you know? And I think that we should all be thinking about this. Yeah. So the judge basically said to either drop the case or go through with the appeal, like drop the appeal or go through with the appeal. And it looks like both sides are going to choose to drop the appeal. Obviously, anything could change, but right now it looks like we're getting there. A sudden shortage makes most sense. Yeah, I mean, you definitely, you know, you could definitely start to see freaking Bobby, man. Bobby loves his caps. Bobby's until you write in lowercase, I'm just not going to read your messages, man. I'm sorry. Do you like Quant, Sensei? Actually, Quant, you know, I think Quant's an important part of the technology for interoperability. I'm probably not the most qualified person to talk on Quant since I'm in like the trenches of XRP and Ripple and all this stuff day in and day out. But what I've seen from like testing with central banks, Quant is a very important piece of the puzzle. And I would never count Gilbert Verderian or is it Gil? I can't say his last name. I'd never count that guy out. That guy is wicked smart. And what's really unique about Quant is the supply, right? You got a lower supply than Bitcoin and you have all the utility. So you start to wonder, you know, Bitcoin's at 100,000. Quant is at like what, $100 something dollars. Let's just take a look at this so we can be on this ship together here. So coin market cap, let's pull this up. We're looking at QNT here on the real. QNT is up 6% at $100. This is crazy. Check this out. So you start to wonder, right? Market cap of 1.23 billion. You only have a total supply of 14.88 million quant. Bitcoin's price 100,000 with a max supply of 21. So you have basically like 1/3 less of the supply for quant, and you're at $102 here. So does quant have an incredible future ahead of it? I believe so. You know, what is that going to be in this bull market? I couldn't tell you, right? Because I think a lot of people think we're at a bull market where we're talking about utility prices for a lot of this stuff, and we're not there yet, guys. I mean, I think a lot of people kind of misjudge where we are. It's still all speculation all the time, you know, and with regulation, with clarity, with the actual use of these assets, that is when you're going to get a utility number. Now, whether that happens in 2025, 2027, or 2028 or 2030, you know, this is all things that are really out of our control. But, you know, we could be looking at some big moves ahead. Yeah. So, man, this is interesting that you just said this. Bearcat says we need to keep in mind that we've never had a utility bull run, and this one will be first of its kind. So super excited. I've never been here longer than it says excited, and I've been here longer than most before the suit was even brought forth, man. And you're still here holding, man. And I think that says a lot about, you know, you as a person, right? I'm excited, right? Are we going to see utility prices in 2025, or are we going to have to wait a little bit longer? I think that's the real question. Health is always here and there. Like, I'm still recovering from my hip surgery. I go to physical therapy twice a week, and like that's been hurting a lot. So I think I'm maybe doing a little too much. We just got over being sick, so you know, trying to balance my personal health life and my you know, my passion for wanting to get, you know, deep into this. You know, I really thrive on the information, and when I'm not like researching or I'm not getting into something, I kind of like get really bored, and I'll be sick in bed on my laptop researching. And so but I appreciate you asking. Thank you. Let's see here. So if XRP and SEC settle, does XRP go into strategic reserve? So really quickly, CW, let's just clarify something here, right? It's Ripple and SEC. And I get it. You know, some people, you know, mix those two up. I've done that before. All good. So Ripple will finally have this behind them. They will have to abide by what the judge's orders are, but this should give them the clarity that they need for like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and these other giants to use the technology if that's what their real plan is going to be. Now, you're asking about a strategic reserve. That is something a little bit different here. A strategic reserve is set up in the United States. There's not money backing up the strategic reserve now. So what they're basically doing here is if the government goes in, if somebody's breaking a law in the United States and that person happens to own crypto and the government comes in and seizes their crypto or their assets, and there's crypto in those assets, they can add those assets to the strategic reserve. That's how that would work. Now, if the Trump administration wants to actually spend taxpayer money on strategic reserve, they would need to get that money from Congress. And that is, of course, something that could take some time. And I really haven't seen too many conversations about that. So I think those pieces are separated, but good question nonetheless. Thank you for asking it. Let's see here. So Dale Smith says, if as everyone says, XRP is the best tech and way better than Bitcoin and ETH and is held back for so long, can't see why it can't explode with the great news of late. Good question. So let's just clarify something. So Bitcoin, if you've listened to the people that are really behind Bitcoin, they've kind of shifted of Bitcoin being like the best technology in the world to now Bitcoin's a store of value. And I think if you've listened to people talk about Bitcoin over the last 5 years, now we're in that place where they just talk about Bitcoin being this really good asset to, it's like digital gold. Like you hear a lot of people comparing it to that. Now, Ethereum is the smart contract functionality on Ethereum is incredible. And don't get me wrong, I think a lot of people misunderstand what Ethereum can do, but you also have all of these like layer 2s that are built on Ethereum that also have a ton of value. I don't think Ethereum's going anywhere anytime soon. Now you're having EVM compatibility on the XRP ledger. That is going to allow smart contract functionality on the XRP ledger. What it'll allow is, DeFi and all of these other applications to be built out that'll require and use XRP to facilitate whatever that is built out. So I think every asset you just mentioned has their own kind of niche and their own kind of space that they're working in. And I don't think like you would, say that XRP and banks are not looking at Bitcoin for FX or cross-border payments because it's just, it's so slow, it's so costly. When you're talking about best technology, XRP is in fact an incredible technology for banks and financial institutions to move value globally instantaneously for a fraction of a penny. Now, is there better technology than XRP? Yeah, there's a lot of newer technology that far exceeds the scalability and TPS of maybe what the XRP ledger can offer. But the problem with a lot of the new technology it hasn't been tested at scale. So, when you're a central bank or you're a financial giant or institution, you're not going to take a risk on something that is brand new. You have to sandbox test it. You have to really get in there and understand the complexities of what you're going to be doing with it. And, I think there's something to be said about Ripple's ability to get into rooms with extraordinary people, whether those are central bank people in control of central banks, or if those are people in control of, CEOs of banks or financial market infrastructures or payment infrastructures. Ripple has been really good at building the connectivity in between blockchain and traditional finance. And you need that middle connectivity to make this all work and make sense. So great question. I hope the answer that I gave you is adequate. How much XRP do I have to buy a new boat? I mean, kind of depends on what kind of boat you want, right? If you want one of those like little dinky boats with a little bit of a motor on the back, you probably won't need much XRP. But if you want a palace on the water, you're gonna, you probably need a lot of XRP, my friend. But good question. Yeah, I mean, 2030, Curtis is right. This is kind of next bull market utility, I think. Curtis, you spent a lot of time in Jake Claver's chat. I mean, what does he say about when, utility when he thinks utility will come. I know I've seen some of his clips where he's talking about 2025, but I know he's also probably thinking about the future here. See here, Edo Farino and the Black Swan brothers are cool dudes, just like you, Sensei. I'm actually gonna have Edo on the chat on Tuesday. I've been talking to him. He actually, I've been going through something the last 6 weeks, and it's been very taxing on my health and everything. And he's been checking in with me steadily, and he's a really good dude. Also, I've had multiple conversations with Versan, really nice guy as well. I don't know his brother too well, but those are really unique and very special people. XRP won't do much in the bear market because of all the liquidity in it. Yeah, you probably are right, Don. You probably are right. Not a lot of stuff happens in a bear market. People just get less interested. Let's see here. From what I understand, the lawsuit isn't really a big deal because the only thing the ruling from Judge Torres restricts in the way they sell XRP to institutions. Yes and no, right? If it wasn't a big deal, why haven't we had a spot XRP ETF approved yet? What are they waiting for? If the SEC is really, that focused on making all of this happen, why does it keep getting delayed? And does it keep getting delayed because of the case? I mean, are we going to see an approval now that once the case is actually settled? Are they going to approve it like the next day? I don't know. But if you listen to the CEO of Bank of America, he's addressed this, right? He's talked about that they are waiting for the actual clarity for, regulation. I think if you're a big bank or institution, you don't want to step off a cliff, right? You don't want to start using something at scale and then some kind of regulation comes in after the fact that basically puts everything that you've just done in jeopardy. So, I can see both sides of what you're saying here. Like, is it really that big of a deal? Right? This isn't affecting XRP globally, right? So why aren't we seeing massive adoption globally, right? This is just the United States. And I think that's a very fair question to ask. Do you hold Shiba Inu? I used to in 2021. I used to. I won't say I was like super early on SHIB, but I was early enough to make, a few hundred six, I made a few 100,000 on Shiba Inu, but I did sell it in the last market and I didn't really see a point of buying it back. Live long, Theta. Greetings. Great to see you. Thank you for being here. Buy Caspa. We called Caspa, God, what, half a penny? Like 2023? That was the best time to buy it. You keep asking me about this. I don't know anything about this. Bastard coin sounds like a scam. Why? No. If this person keeps spamming this, just put them on timeout, and if they keep doing it, just block them. I don't want any kind of meme coin scam chats in the chat, please. Let's see here. Curtis says if they seize cash from the drug dealers, they could probably put that towards crypto. Yeah, I mean, if they do, they could, but is that happening though? I haven't seen that happening. If you have an example of that, please let me know. I mean, a lot of people believe that the price has been suppressed, and I think in the crypto market, that could be said about a lot of assets and a lot of institutions playing, kind of God with it. What do you think about Pegu ETF possibly coming out? I mean, I haven't heard of it, but is it? If we're gonna be basically, Lady Trader said this a while ago. She thinks that there's going to be a basket of like meme coins ETFs. And I think you're going to get like a basket of real world asset ETFs and meme coins, and you're going to get, utility coins or ISO, ETFs. I think these are all possibilities in the future. Absolutely. What are layer 1s, 2s, and 3s? Well, layer 1s are like Ethereum and, your XRPs. Layer 2s are support built on top of layer 1s, and then layer 3s are additional support built on top of layer 2s. So like you could, I'm waiting for layer 4s and layer 5s, but this is something that you could throw into Perplexity and really get a complex answer. We're just not going to spend much time on that today. Shut the don't say that. Please don't say that. Don't say that. No, please don't say that. Did Trump really say the US is going to stop? This would be catastrophic. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Fuck my life. It knows what I'm asking. I hope that's not real. Trump did not say. No. But he did announce that the US is immediately ending all trade negotiations with Canada. Maybe that's what you're talking about. Oh, fuck. I mean, can we just have a week where we don't get stressed out about stuff like this, please? Trump is done with Canada. Oh my God. We have just been informed that Canada, a very difficult country to trade with, including the fact that they have charged our farmers as much as 400% tariffs for years on dairy products. You know what? Hold on, I just need to fact check all of this to make sure it's accurate. Hold on real quick. I just don't want to give you information that's not accurate. Can you scan this document and tell me, one, if it's real, and two, if the facts line up, and give me context on all of it? Okay, let me just see the rest of this here. God. On dairy products, and just announced that they are putting a digital services tax on American technology companies, which is a direct and blatant attack on our country. They are obviously copying the European Union. Oh, man. Oh, damn. And currently under discussion with us. Also, based on these egregious tax, he hereby terminating all discussions on trade with Canada effective immediately. Oh, yeah, this is catastrophic. If this is real, the document is authentic. The text image matches a statement by former President Trump regarding the termination of trade talks with Canada. Here's what I'm reading. Sorry about that. Over the new digital DST, alongside standing Canada's dairy tariffs. Okay, so claim Canada is imposing a DST tax on American companies. True, Canada enacted a 3% DST on large digital companies. So it's a 3% DST. Let me just see what this says. I mean, is 3% egregious? I guess you would need to answer that to yourself. Is 3% egregious on both foreign and domestic? So they're doing this inside of their country and domestic. So they're doing this foreign and domestically. So it's not just Americans, it's everybody that's getting this. And they're earning over 20 million Canadian digital services revenue for the first payments due at the end of 2025. Context, the DST is similar to digital taxes implemented by the European Union, which has also been a point of contention between the US and EU. Termination of trade talks. Trump is terminating all trade discussions with Canada effective immediately. That is true. Trump publicly announced that immediately halt all trade talks. 400% tariffs claim. Canada has charged U.S. farmers 400%. So here's the truth, particularly accurate, but misleading without context. Canada's supply management system does impose tariffs as high as 241 to 290%, in most cases up to 300 and 314% on certain dairy imports, but only when U.S. exports exceeded specific quota limits under the USMCA trade agreement. Most U.S. dairy exports to Canada do not reach these quotas, and so the highest tariffs are rarely applied. So, I mean, yikes. But so you do realize that the USMCA is the thing that the Trump administration, the first term, negotiated themselves. Like isn't this their own making though? Because they did put this in their own agreement. Let's just see how markets are reacting to this, because this is how are markets reacting to Trump's news on Canada? I don't know. What do you guys think about all this? Let me just go right down to the bottom here, because I just want to see what this says. Hey, I hope you visit. Absolutely. Please. The tariff imports in the U.S. and the tariffs suppress the whole market, not helping get liquidity. And like these, I don't know. I'm not president, so I can't really say this is whatever. Like, I don't think this is helping businesses in the United States do anything. Like, I think people don't really understand the full implications of doing something like this. We get a lot of our oil and like the machinery oil from Canada. They make some of the the best premium oils, and a lot of the stuff that farmers use to grow crops. A lot of the good like potash comes from Canada, and like I could see this really negatively impacting farmers on top of the tariffs that were already put on. So I don't know how this is all going to turn out. I mean, this is black pepper tea, man. I don't have the flu. I just been feeling really terrible lately, but I will try it. Let me take a picture of that. Sal. Actually, you're not Sal, but you have the same picture as Sal. That's weird. Okay. Thank you. Always good news comes out on Fridays. Well, I don't know if that's on purpose, probably on purpose, right? Because markets are closed during the weekend, and you can kind of see how your policy is going to affect markets going into the week. Let's see here. Hey, Sensei, if XRP and Ripple are the rails, is Quant the railroad ties? Quant seems is going to be a Bitcoin killer. I think Quant, we did talk about this earlier. I think Quant has an incredible use case. I don't think anything can kill Bitcoin right now other than Bitcoin itself. Which I mean by that is the only thing that can kill Bitcoin right now is if people really find out who was behind creating Bitcoin. And was it like a 3-letter agency? Because if it was a 3-letter agency, I don't think anybody is going to trust, Bitcoin going forward. I think that's really the only thing that could really hold Bitcoin from stopping it from doing what it's going to do. I just, does Quant have all the utility and less supply than Bitcoin? Absolutely. Will it be essential to all of this? I think so. Thank you for the question. We're not talking about politics. We're talking about trade, and we're talking about markets. So I didn't give you my personal feeling about how not going to be baited into it. Let's see here. I mean, we'll just let this play out, guys. Not much we can say without pissing off half the world. So we're just going to leave it at that. This is what the Trump administration decided to do. We'll see if it works or not. Just keep in mind, though, all of the tariffs were paused until July 9th. On July 9th, all of those tariffs kick back in. It varies between 10 and 30%. So, I think some products people haven't really experienced price hikes yet, and you're going to start to see those here next month. So, it'll be interesting. Hey bro, had a question. Do you think XRP price can drop below $1.80? I think anything's possible. Absolutely. I mean, if we have some type of black swan event or a negative downturn in the market because of something political or geopolitical, anything can happen, man. I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say it'll never happen again. I think there's a very strong chance that it could happen. Yeah, that's also a really good point, Curtis. Tether could ruin Bitcoin. If it's not got the backings, they won't meet regulations. And when price drops, these large companies leveraging against it. That's very true. I think fake Brad AI. Yeah, I mean, you always got to verify if something's real or not. Let's see here. Yeah, that's the announcement. That's the announcement. Brad Garlinghouse said that they're dropping their appeals, and the SEC should too. Are we waiting for Brad to speak? I don't know if he's going to speak today. I don't know if he's going to speak. I mean, we can take a look. I didn't see anything that he had mentioned it. No, the last thing was just that they're dropping the appeal is the last piece of information that we have. Nothing about him speaking. Have I looked at Plume? Plume. No, I don't think I have. Plume. Let's see what you're talking about here. Plume. I've heard the name. I just don't know what it is, brother. Let's take a look here. Is this it? 160 million? Bad news always hurts the market, right? I mean, like, also too, what could hurt the market is if the US got into a much larger conflict in the Middle East again. That could really negatively impact the market. And so we don't know if these things are going to happen. We just got to, hold on and hope for the best at this point. All right, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this. Somebody asked about Plume. Let's take a look and see what they do here. Score 78. Okay. Let's see here. This is kind of fallen off a bit here. This went from, hold on. Oh, that's all 7 days. Okay, here we go. Wait, 1 month. So this was at 16 cents and now it's been cut in half in a month. Any reason that the price is cut in half in a month? Here, let me pull up the website here. Real-world assets that feel just like crypto, transforming assets into globally accessible financial tools with true crypto native utility. I know Hashkey, Galaxy, Laser Digital. Why did the price fall off though 50% in a month? That's pretty crazy. Did something happen? Like, was there like an announcement of really good news and then like people sold off, or was it like unlock? I'd like to better understand that. But anything real world asset, if it's legitimate and it's supporting, big companies, it definitely has a place maybe in the future. Hey, Sensei, where is the massive recession? Overloaded seaports, no trucks available. As the beacon of truth telling CBC sold you? So I think what you're talking about here is I said, what was that, 2 months ago, that supply shelves would be empty for some things. I still stand 100% behind that. If you've been tracking the amount of ships that have left China to the United States over the last few months, I think I was listening to something where it was like 4 times or 5 times worse than during COVID. Like we just didn't get anything for a few months. Now, I think that shipments did start picking up, but you are going to have a period next month where there's not going to be certain goods, and 100% stand behind that. And I mean, has CNBC been sued for lying to the public recently? Because I haven't seen anything like that. So I don't know. You let me know. Seems like you are really into this. So hold on. Hold on. Will supply. Okay, I'm looking something up really quickly. Okay, here. So this person asked about cargo ships. Okay, so let's just look at the facts here because, uh, I think people have their own agenda with facts, and we don't deal with people's agendas here. We actually deal with what is what. So, over the past few months, there has been a dramatic reduction in the number of cargo ships delivering goods from China to the United States. Several key developments that have contributed to that, which are a sharp drop in shipments since basically 145% tariffs. Chinese imports April 2025 sailing from China, US plummeted by 60% in April alone. So, they front ran a lot of goods before the tariffs kicked in. So that's what stores are working with right now, is they're working with a lot of front ran products. But when you start getting a 60% drop in ships that are coming into port, that means you are having less goods. Canceled voyages, cargo carriers canceled 80 voyages from China to the US in April, which is 60% more than any month during COVID pandemic. So if you're asking me, do I still believe this? Absolutely. If you look at the facts would say we're in for probably a recession. If we're lucky, it'll be a recession. You have 99 trade agreements or 98 trade agreements that haven't been worked out yet. And July 9th is the time that those agreements go back into effect. So I think you're maybe stepping on your own foot right now, and maybe you should wait a little bit of time, and then we're going to get to see the full experience of if they're going to be able to manage these things. I think, Jerome Powell not dropping rates says a lot about what we're currently dealing with. And I think there's a lot of uneasiness in markets right now. And I think people should be paying attention to it. But, we'll let you decide here. Port activity, for example, on a recent Friday, no cargo ships left from China for California major ports in a 12-hour window, a situation never seen since the pandemic. The Port of Los Angeles expects arrivals to drop by 35%, with most shipments for major retailers and manufacturers have ceased. So do you know what has ceased means? That means it is no longer happening. Overall decline across major U.S. ports, ship arrivals, China are down 30 to 40%. So now if you're telling me that all of these people have, too much work on their hands, I would say you're full of shit. I would say that you're not looking at the actual facts and the data on the ground. And I'd say that you probably should spend some time doing that. All right. Let's see here. We have every time it looks like XRP hits the fan, I go see posted a video to calm my nerves. I think if we just look at like one thing, or like, there's always going to be enough bad news in the world. There's always going to be a plethora of good news, but like, you just need to don't take each individual thing, right? Because your highs and lows, because I'm a very emotional person. When somebody kind of like comes on and attacks me, I get very defensive, and I just want to, bring the facts and show them the facts about that. But like, I get that the anxiety builds up when you hear a bad thing or even a good thing. You get a lot of joy, and I think we just need to calm down and look at the larger picture, right? Like, what people that invest in the stock market, I'm not a financial expert. I don't have a license or anything. So please keep in mind, I'm just giving you my personal experiences. When I look at people that invest in stocks, they have a 10-year, a 20-year, 30-year plan, right? They're buying something to hold it through their life, right? Or a large part of their life. And I think that same thing should be looked at when you're getting into crypto assets. Sure, people like the 1,000% or 10,000% gains in a quick period of time. And if you can do that month after month and be successful at it, you're going to be successful whenever you do. But if we're talking about, the adoption of crypto, it still takes time. But I think over the last 6 to 12 months, we've seen a huge uptick in institutions wanting to get into XRP and other assets like XRP because of the Trump administration's ability to get into the crypto market. I think that's been very positive. I wouldn't probably choose the trade stuff that we're going down, but you can't win them all, and we'll see how things go with stuff on the shelves. And the thing is, like, I'm bouncing back and forth here about these two things, but when I watch a lot of I watch YouTube content about manufacturers in China, okay, and China is like the world's retailer. They put a lot of this stuff together and then it gets sent out, okay. If you basically stop all trade for a period of time in between two of the biggest countries in the world, it's going to have an impact, right? And maybe you can't see that impact yet, but it is still coming, right? Anyways, thank you for the $9.99. I appreciate it. El Paso, Texas. Just appreciate you, man. Thank you. That goes to Luna, and she really appreciates you. Canada put 3-spot ETFs. Yeah, we did talk about that. We talked to, I've been making a lot of content about that. If you just look at the content over the last week, I've talked about that repeatedly, and it's really great. I like to see more. Yeah, I mean, liquidity is key here, guys. Like, liquidity is so important. I think the reason Ethereum has been so successful is because they had all this liquidity. And, same thing could be said about like RLUSD and different liquidity being added. You're getting a lot of DeFi components being built out on the XRP ledger. And all of that's going to require liquidity. So we still need a lot. What do you think about XRP at 250? I'll be buying XRP regardless of what price it is. I never feel like I have enough. And I think a lot of people feel that way. Sensei, we also need to keep in mind that ships are being rerouted to Australia and other countries versus the US, since that they have been exporting from other countries due to increased cost. Yeah, so Brett, that's a great point. But I think the person was specifically taking a shot at the United States specifically, because I had said a few months ago that I believed that this would not enough goods would be on the shelves in certain areas. And I still stand behind that. Like, all the data that I've collected since still leads me to believe that we're going to have a shortcoming very soon. And then we also have all of these additional tariffs that are going to go into effect on July 9th. So, what is that going to do to the markets? We don't know, but you should be prepared for it regardless. Okay. XLM has been so quiet. I mean, they take shots at Ripple whenever they can, right? And XRP. But, they have been building. Danelle Dixon is probably the reason why Stellar's been so successful the last, few years. Without her, I don't know if Jed was really up to the task of running that company. She's been stellar, man. Here you go. Here is some real data from somebody who's actually in business right now. Here you go. Crypto Sensei, I have business contracts in China. About 40% of companies exporting to the US have closed doors. That's what I was going for. Thank you so much for pulling me back in. So this is where my mind was going, and then I completely lost it. When you stop this billions of dollars, right? Billions of dollars every month of goods. When you stop that from just a short period of time, those businesses that hire workers and all of these things, if they're not putting a lot of the stuff together, 30 or 40% drop, that could close a lot of businesses. And that's what you're seeing right now, right? I think people don't even see the US side of this as well, right? Like here, like this is something you should be paying attention to. Let me show you this. Okay. So let's go down here and say, give me bankruptcy data. Hold on. Bankruptcy data in the USA 2024 compared to 2025. This is also something that people aren't paying attention to. Here you go. Check this out. 2024 to 2025. For the last 12 months ending March 2023, there's been this many filings. Year to date in 2025, filings are up 23.5% over 2024. almost 25% above 2024 levels. Those are businesses that are gone. Those are employers that are now gone. And people just don't think that's going to have an effect on the markets. And I don't know. I just think people need to look at all of this together. 93 million, one person shooting for Bitcoin a few hours ago. I saw like what was the guy's name that, he made $100 million and then he like put a long into Bitcoin and then he got liquidated for almost all of it. I mean, it's a tough world out here, man, especially when you're trying to, you got to understand that some of these institutions have billions of dollars to play with. And if they see your $93 million short or whatever, if they want to destroy you, they will go do that, man. They will go do that. Let's see here. Legendary says, thankfully, a good portion of the items coming from China aren't already required for a day-to-day life. We spend too much on stuff we don't need. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Very well said. Very well said. I mean, I was just making the case that there's going to be less things available on shelves. Like, that's all I said, which that's true. That's true. You're going to see that over the next few months. Like, people don't realize that companies preloaded a bunch of goods, right? Like tons and tons and tons of goods. Once all that stuff goes through, you don't have new goods to replace what you front ran. And now that you're trying to catch back up, you haven't seen numbers like this since COVID. So like, I can remember when COVID happened and what that experience was like when you went to a store and everything was cleared out. That didn't feel good. And then people start to panic and then more people buy more. I mean, we would be silly not to think that we're going to experience some of that volatility going forward. Now, could that be all caught up? Absolutely. But we will have a time period of there where things are going to be short for some time. Ondo is killing it. I mean, Ondo should be killing it, man. Ondo should be killing it, brother. Yeah, a lot of his private investors, Chris. Well said. Well said, man. Let's see here. Ripple CEO waiting on SEC response to seal the deal. Love that. You would think, though, they would already know what they're going to do, right? If Brad Garlinghouse is out here publicly saying that. Do you think we'll see markets down due to Trump's announcement? I don't know what markets are going to do. All I know is I think we have seen in the past when some of these announcements are made that it has had a negative impact on people's ability, to look long in the markets, right? I don't know how this is going to go. Like, you have retail people basically piling into the stock market right now. And you have institutions that are leaving the stock market right now. So there's a big difference between what Wall Street is doing and what Main Street is doing. And I don't know when that will come to a head, but without all of this, retail buying, markets would still be, down. And so at what point is this going to have a larger effect? I don't know. Let's see here. Speed Freak says, can you give your opinion on why I can watch podcasts on crypto and they talk about every crypto except XRP? And if they talk about XRP, it's bad. I don't know what you watch, man. I don't know what you watch. I really couldn't tell you without looking at your, I think that especially if they're like Bitcoin people, I think Bitcoin enthusiasts or Bitcoin podcasters or Bitcoin whatever, I think everyone has a favorite of what they like, right? What technology that they're paying close attention to. Very rarely does somebody look at 100 different things and just talk about 100 different things at once. So, you could just be watching all the stuff that they just don't like XRP, but I could think of, 10 different XRP content creators that are incredibly intelligent. Jake Claver, you have the Black Swan brothers, you have Edo Farino, you have a lot of Metalom and the attorneys in the XRP space. There's a lot of really smart content creators out there that you could be following for XRP content. I just don't know what you're looking at, brother. Who fucking cares who I voted for? Why does that matter? People get too wrapped up on I kind of just miss where things used to be like, it didn't really matter who you voted for, but it mattered like who you are as a person. We've just lost that as a society, and it's just sad. It's really sad. I don't know, bro. Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Let's go XRP and XLM. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. All Rite Aids are closing down. I mean, you know, that's a good sign, right? I mean, when an entire company that's been in business for decades is closing its doors, and you know, what people don't realize is the economy was already slowing down under Biden. And then when you put on all of these tariffs and all of this other stuff, it slows the economy down even more. And so this is why Trump has been so adamant about, you know, calling for lowering rates. You know, that's all they got right now. And without that, you know, the picture, the overall picture here is it could be scary for a lot of people that are paying attention. You know, but there's a lot of smart people that are trying to figure this out, and let's hope that they do, because you know, we're talking about this actively. If you listen, we're actively talking about this. It could be crazy, dude. You know what's hella funny? Like, my wife and I go to Costco like every weekend, you know, as probably you do too. And for like a month or two, they didn't have Charmin toilet paper. And like, if you've ever, you know, gone to Costco and you wanted something and they just cannot have it, they just don't have it week after week, month after month, you just try to figure out other ways to get it. And so like, I'm looking at a closet that I'm staring at right now that is like filled with Charmin toilet paper, because when I finally found it somewhere, I just went and bought like $200 worth of Charmin toilet paper because I just didn't want to deal with the Costco one ply. Man, we're getting kind of weird here, aren't we? Lunch break time. Sarah Carpenter, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. What are you eating? Anything good? In Hawaii, I miss Mexican food. We don't have as many places. Like in California, there was a lot of really incredible places, especially in the Bay Area, and you just don't have that good of a selection here. And so I miss that so much. I think it's a possibility. Yeah. I mean, the market really gets going here with the ETFs. ETFs can bring in a lot of money pretty quickly, billions of dollars. And those billions of dollars could amplify dramatically. Yeah, we confirmed it. It's genuine. Yeah. Yeah. We just fact checked all this. Some of what he's claiming is right. Some of it is a little off, but it is 100% a real. Here, let me just post this for you. I'm posting a link to Perplexity. In that link is the fact checked of the information that you're asking about. We just looked at it. It is real. It is real. First question to you is blank. All right. Are we looking for you, Boston Red Sox? We're not talking politics. What we're addressing is somebody asked about if a statement was real or not, and we were trying to verify that statement, and that's what we're doing. And then I did get attacked on, you know, whatever, but we were verifying. Oh wait, that's not. It's Iran. This is what we're verifying. Here, let me pull this up. This is what we're verifying. So I appreciate you saying that, and trust me, I really don't want to talk about all this, but people love talking about it. And I never said who I voted for. People just assume who I voted for. I just like that, you know, it really gets people riled up. So the announcement is on the screen. If you're asking what the announcement is, it's on the screen. Let's see here. Sensei, I don't get it. When are institutions allowed to buy XRP? So user, any institution can buy XRP. If you're asking about buying directly from Ripple, If Ripple would sell XRP to institutions in the United States, they would have to follow securities laws. But they can sell XRP to anybody else outside of the United States as long as it applies to that country's laws and regulations. I hope that helps you. It is genuine. It is real. We fact check it. I'm not gonna keep saying that it's real. I verified this. You've asked me now 3 times. I've told you that it is real. No Costco, one ply. See, at least one person knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, Trump is suspending trade talks with Canada. So I don't know what this is going to look like, guys. It's really hard to say, but wish us luck. We're going to get to this. Well, I mean, come on. Of course, it's like 2-ply, man. It's like extra soft. Of course, it can clog toilets. But if you have an old toilet and old plumbing, it'll clog probably. Oh my God, my wife's friend lives in a unit not far from us, but it's really old plumbing, and one of their neighbors decided to flush baby diapers down the toilet, and it flooded the entire building. So I mean, there's just, I don't know why you thought that was pretty good. What are your predictions now that the case is over? Well, it's not over yet, Kevin. When we researched this earlier, we have 30 to 60 days in the window that it'll probably be over. And once that is officially over and we can get this behind us, we might be looking at some pretty good, approvals for ETFs, as well as maybe institutions will finally start using XRP in the United States. We just don't know what that's going to look like. Hella. Yep. I mean, it probably isn't that hard to figure out kind of like my background and where I grew up and my beliefs and stuff like that. And I think my beliefs over the last, 10, 15 years have changed dramatically. I grew up in a very, like, my dad's very hardcore Republican and my mom's very hardcore Democrat. And like, they both wanted to instill their beliefs on me. And so I listened, to a lot of it on both sides. And then when I got older, I kind of made my own decisions. And it's just unfortunate that this industry is very one-sided on the political scale. And I get attacked for some of my views and beliefs. And that's fine. I'll take it. I'm still who I am. But yeah, cool. I love Mexican food. Only a few places good in Hawaii. So like, that's the thing, right? There's only maybe 1 or 2 places, but we should have a text conversation about this, Will. You probably got some good ones. Honey bun. Where is it like with the cinnamon on it and like the frosting? That's a pretty interesting lunch, Sarah. You gotta be probably eating better than that, but that sounds really good right now though. Been here since November. Thanks for all the updates. I appreciate you on deck. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I mean, this could be a nothing burger too, guys, right? Like, how often has he said something and he's reversed course on that? I think he's got a lot of stress. When you're the president of the United States, I'd imagine sleep is not your friend. And when you're not sleeping well, you can make some really rash and harsh decisions very quickly. And, I don't know if some of these decisions are thought out of how they will impact everything on a bigger scale, but they're decisions made and we got to stand by those decisions, and whatever happens, happens. Yeah. Sui. Well, people like SEI say too, but Sui, I think you're like, I've seen a lot of people saying Sui is the next Solana. I don't think I've heard as many people say is the next Solana, but I can see why somebody would say either one of those things. Traditional poke is really good. Yeah, there's a lot of really good places for fish here, man. Like, really good. Like, that's one of the most things I missed about Hawaii. I used to live here for 10 years in my, I lived here in my 20s. When I moved to Hawaii when I was 19, and I left Hawaii when I was 30. I had to move back to California. I had to have surgery. And there wasn't a good doctor here that could could have done the surgery on me. And I got caught up in all of that for years, and that almost killed me. Literally, like almost killed me. And soon as we could move back, we moved back. So are we still bullish? We're always bullish, man. Always bullish. Yeah, I get that. I get that. I mean, can't I say that I love certain things about the Trump administration, and I also don't agree with certain things. Like I had that same opinion with Biden, you know, and like I feel like I've been pretty true to who I am. And, you know, if people don't like who I am, I get it. I understand. You know, I cannot get up here and please, you know, if 1,000 people watch me, 20,000 people watch me, 25,000 people watch me, I try to just stay true to who I am. And if you don't like that, there's nothing I can do to change that, you know? So I hope people can understand that it comes from a good place. And I'm concerned about these things. And when I bring these things up, there's not just to like shit on somebody. They're just saying like, these are the things that I'm worried about as an individual here. And yeah. Kirkland brand used to be good. Facts. I think over the years, Kirkland's like, you know, how can we save some extra money? But like, if you could invest in a Costco 20 years ago, I mean, you're a freaking gazillionaire. I always go with the waterfall. I'm so glad we've shifted our conversation here from crypto to somewhat politics to toilet paper. I love how we did this. No, I was not talking with you on Discord, Curtis. No. You always got to make sure you're talking to me. Are you in Kryptonaires? Please don't tell me you sent money somewhere. Please don't tell me you sent money somewhere. I did see $5 from Jim. Are you on Oahu? I used to live in Kaneohe and station at Joint Base Pearl Harbor. Yeah, I am. Do you miss it? I live really close, like in townside. Ala Moana. Very close. Yeah, Sui, like I'm buying as much Sui as I can. Like it's so hard when I like make extra money from something, or if I get paid from like YouTube, you know, for my content. I'm always like, do I buy more Sui or do I buy more XRP? I'm always kind of going back and forth about that. Like over the last maybe a few weeks, I've bought some SHX. I have bought some more ZBIC. I have bought some Sui, some ADA, some XRP, and I bought Angel, ANGL, that we talked about a week and a half ago. That was a very successful launch. Asif, I'm glad you're here with us, Asif. Sending love from San Diego. What's up? Been here since February. I wish I've listened to you earlier in the game, but hey, I'm here now. I appreciate you. Esteban Bravo. That's a great name, man. That's a fantastic name. I'm glad you're here, man. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate you. What would be a good to cover is XRP, black, and public pools? I mean, you mean dark pools? Public pools. I think you're meaning dark pools. You know who did a very good like video on dark pools is Jake Claver. Like if you haven't seen Jake Claver's video on dark pools, you should go watch that. That's like fantastic stuff, man. You'd love to hear learn to kiteboard. Wow. Yeah, dude. Oh, see, like Kailua is so far. Like if you live on the mainland, right? And you make the same like 10-mile journey somewhere, you can get there in like 10 minutes. But you make that same 10-mile journey in Hawaii, it could take you like an hour, right? So that's just the only problem. I'm going to buy all the Charmin TP when I get XRP rich. See, look, Sarah is going to basically clean it all out in the United States. There's not going to be anything left. I'm going to be so sad. Sensei, I joined and someone started, sent the crypto eerie comments and said that they were telling me to change my settings. Oh my God. Yeah, dude. I'm sorry, Curtis. Like the amount of people that are being scammed right now on Discord is catastrophic, you know? And so like I even have it in my Discord name that I will never DM you first. Like I don't know if you've seen my name in Discord, but here, let me show you what it looks like. Hold on. This is what it looks like. So if you're on Discord and if you see this screen name, like this is me, but it says won't DM you. I will never DM you first. Like that is, I got to change this picture though. But yeah, no, I will not DM you first ever. Yeah, just please be careful, man. Yeah, ignore them, report them if you can, but like it's just, I cannot turn off my DMs, but you can. I would highly advise you to turn off your DMs unless you're like friends with somebody. But like even when you're friends with somebody, there's so many accounts that get hacked. I'm very cautious about like things I click on and just everything. Like it's just sad. I feel like there needs to be more done for people, to fight against these scammers. But you know, what can we do, man? Yeah. Yeah, dude, just be very careful. Be very careful, Curtis. My alter ego always tries to reach out to you. Fucking hell. Fuck. You know, like they have been pretty successful. I think one person sent them $10,000. You know, I wish, I don't know, like, is there somebody that I could hire that could figure out who's like doing this? Because I would pay money to like track down or reverse engineer, like send them a link that they click on, like, you know, pretend that like I don't know what I'm doing, send them a link they click on, and then you get all the data on like who it is. Like I don't know if that's possible. I'm not like proficient in that. But if that's possible, please let me know. From North Carolina, what's up, crypto noob? Yeah, I appreciate John. Yeah, it breaks my heart when I hear people, you know, lose money to that kind of stuff. It absolutely, like one person thought like I was text messaging them, you know, like they emailed me and said, "Hey, Sensei, have I been text messaging you?" And I was like, you know, what's the number? You know, I don't think we've been talking. And they sent me the number and it was some like Las Vegas number. And I was like, no, man, that's not me. Yeah. See, like, fuck, see, Sal. Yeah. It's freaking heartbreaking, man. Yeah. Just turn off DMs, man. Turn off DMs. Did you see this though? Did you see Dana White talking about VeChain? I thought this was pretty cool. Did you see this? Check this out.
I actually bought almost $1 million worth of VeChain. I own almost $1 million worth of VeChain right now. So I'm in every way that you could possibly be in with Sonny and VeChain. It's the only crypto I own. It's the only crypto I've ever bought. Yeah, I'm all in with VeChain.
Man, must be nice to be Dana White, man. Like all that hard work, you know, for decades pays off. It's surprising that he only owns VeChain though. You would think like Dana White would, you know, own Bitcoin and maybe some other assets, but the man loves VeChain. Jake did a video on the CEO of security company that can help with that. Oh, really? I'll have to reach out to Jake. 808 represent. My phone number is actually not an 808 number. It's a Bay Area phone number. Oh shit, really? BidConnect. I remember all that. I do like your name. They're retired since 2024. I'm sorry that you fell victim to BidConnect. That was a pretty crazy and elaborate scam. I mean, to get tens of thousands of people to show up at events and like just mind blowing the you know, the complexity of that scam. Sorry to hear that, man. There's a lot of really good people here. Really, a lot of people good here. Aloha, brother. What's up, Chad? Chad Hani. That sounds like a Hawaiian name there. Good to see you. Yeah, I know. That's the worst fucking part about all this, man. Like these people, you can't even if you like, here, I'll tell you what's wrong, right? Even if you have a problem, you can't get help, right? Um, there was something that I reported, right, in 2022. And I didn't get reached out from the SEC until 2024. It took over 2 years to get them to respond to my complaint. And it's like 2 years later, what are they going to do, right? The people that did this are gone. Like there has to be a better way to help support people that are victims in anything, because the crypto market is like scam heaven, right? Anyone that's DMing you on Twitter, on YouTube, well, obviously YouTube, like never respond to any of the comments. Like anything in the comments is like X, like I just bought X, whatever, I just spent X, those are all scams. And like every day we ban the scam and then another scam gets created. So, anyone that messages you, just imagine they're a scammer. Like even if you think it's your friend, you need to like verify that it's your friend. Like I would call them and say, hey, is this really you talking to me? Because it's just bad, man. Zaman is really good. Zaman is a really good wallet. Hey, later glitches. Good to see you. How are you doing? Eva Beach. I used to live in Eva Beach. God, what was it called? It was one of those new developments. Well, this was, when I was in my 20s. So this was, a long time ago. Ocean Point in Eva Beach is where I used to live. I lived in Coalina for a while, and then Eva Beach, and now I live in town. Eva Beach is beautiful. I mean, I used to live in Eva Beach when the traffic was like, you remember, like it's 2 lanes, Fort Weaver Road, 2 lanes in, 2 lanes out. They widened it over the past 15 years, but it used to be just awful, right? Like you used to have to take the side roads in. Helium rugged? No. Really? Hold on. It's not rugged. What you talking about, Willis? It rugged? Eva Beach is hot as fuck. Yeah, bro. You need air conditioning in Eva Beach for sure. But like all of Hawaii is hot as fuck, right? I mean, unless you live like Manoa in the mountains, where it's you're getting rain all the time, but then you got to worry about mold, right? I don't know, Curtis. I'm not seeing that. Did they really rug? Ocean Point, yeah, Ocean Point, man. Oh, it's good. It's good to talk some story, man, about Eva Beach. Traffic is always miserable. Yeah, man. You could always count on, like I used to work in town at BMW. And so I would drive from Coalina to town every day. Or when I lived in Eva Beach, I would drive from Eva Beach to either like Audi or to the Tony Group. And it was bad, man. It's really bad. Like it would take you like 40 minutes to get to Eva Beach, and then it would take you 40 minutes to get from Eva Beach in. It's rough, dude. All right, let's do this. Let's take the last few questions here, and then we should wrap up. It is the weekend. I want everybody to go out and just enjoy, have a little bit of fun. If you worked at the BMW dealership, I possibly met you. Yeah, I worked there. God, when was this date? 15 years ago, about this time. I'd have to look at like when I won my awards and stuff, like what year it was, but it was probably like 2010-ish. Yeah, man, we were talking about this earlier and people got a little bit little sideways about it. So we're not going to talk about that too much left, but it is unfortunate, and I don't know how it's going to unfold, man, and how it's going to turn out. I mine helium. Don't see anything, Curtis. Well, that's good. I think you just gave Polanco here freaking, more gray hair, dude. I think he was. Oh, you see what Gala Games is doing though to nodes? Like, I don't think Gala Games is long for this world. Gala Games is now requiring node holders to own 1 million Gala per node if they want to continue to get rewards. Imagine you spending $100,000 on a node 2 years ago. And now that node, unless you spend another 15 grand right now, they're not going to give you rewards. Imagine that feeling, right? I think you have like 20,000 node holders, and you only have about 1,000 or 1,200 people that own actually 1 million Gala. And so you don't even know if that's 1 million people that own, 1,200 people that own 1 million Gala. You don't even know if those are all node holders. So your network might go from 20,000 nodes running to 1,000 nodes running, or 500 nodes running. That could be catastrophic to the development of your chain. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be hard to figure that one out. Sorry, I'm from Hamaku Coast, Big Island. Man, I've only been to Big Island a few times, but I was like, you don't really realize you're on like a volcanic island, right? Until you're like on the Big Island, and it's everywhere, right? It's everywhere. Big Island's so beautiful though. Like, don't they have like all of the world's climates in one place? I think they do, right? What did you do at BMW? When I worked at BMW, I was a salesperson. I sold cars. It's really good. That was really good. There was guys that were there for like 30 years, had hundreds, thousands of clients. I came in off the street, I was selling, a few hundred cars. Like months I was doing like 20, 25 deals by myself, doing deliveries and everything myself, and still I was killing it, man. I was killing it. I miss the customers. Don't miss the dramatics of a car dealership though. You have a lot of strong personalities, that are in one place, and you can imagine my personality. You either love me or you hate me. So like, that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Yeah. So I know it's a day off. I think I'm going to stream Thursday, because July 4th, that's a family day. So I'll probably stream on Thursday instead. I like Jake Claver's opinion about liquidity crisis and how it's going to use XRP supply. Man, Jake is just like, that dude's on the next level. Like, he is just so brilliant. That dude deserves a lot of love. Like, he's an incredible mind. That guy's going to be like, I don't know how rich Jake Claver is already, but I can't imagine that guy's going to be a multi-billionaire. Are we talking about helium? If we're talking about helium, let's see if we can, hold on. What is it? It's HELIUM, helium. Okay, let me see. I'm sharing my screen. I mean, I don't think so, bro. Let's see here. Let's see if anyone's talking about it. It doesn't look like it, to be honest with you. Like, I don't see anybody here complaining about it on X, and this is really where you get people first to complain about something. I mean, I personally, it doesn't look to me that it's down, but I'm not, what's it called? I'm not a developer or anything. Like, some of the infrastructure could have gone down. I don't know. It was through the grapevine. Yeah, I mean, maybe there's something still to come. I hope not, because there's so much money that people invested into like the infrastructure of helium, and if that collapsed, it would be really bad for a lot of people. And I never want to see people like that hurt. I bought a lot of like different products in the past from crypto companies, nodes that you buy and you plug in, and then the network dies or something, or they rug, or it goes nowhere, and you just have this useless technology. So, hey, we're all trying to get there together, Spaghetti Baby. We're all trying to get there together, and I think that's what makes this so unique and special. Speaking of nodes, what's happening with this decentralized storage? Yeah, dude. I haven't talked to those guys in a while. Because like every time I talk to them, I feel like, some promises were being made that, we weren't seeing too much of that. But I'll send a message to Chris and see if there's an update. Are they still doing the node meetings? I didn't think they were. I haven't heard anything about it. But just another example of, promises made and then, not promises kept. It's unfortunate, man. Yeah, storage chain. Yeah. I mean, they've been putting out updates, but I just don't. I mean, I haven't seen the token price do anything. I mean, they just did an AMA. 133 people turned in. They're still working with what's it called? Phoenix Lock. They actually built the product. They finished it. Look. Oh man. Speaking of, who I've been talking to in a while? Brian. I haven't talked to Brian from BioFi in a while. Man, that guy used to love calling me and just, chomping my ear off about everything. Oh, he could be talking about Bobcat miners. That's a possibility. Yeah, helium is pretty cool, man. But like, is it dead? Not like last time I talked to Brian, he's like, that dude's always in Africa. Every time I talk to him, he's in Africa. And they're trying to, take the long approach. But I don't know, like new things come up, new projects come up, new things that people are interested in. You want to just spend time understanding those things. And, I don't know. I felt like there was a lot of promises there that, need to be fulfilled as well. So I don't think it's dead. No, I think they're last time I talked with Brian, like maybe last month, they were moving forward with like an iPad type of thing, a tablet. So it's not dead. Since I've been following you since 21st November 2024 in crypto. Before that, my knowledge was zero. Thanks. Charmed by Glass or by Gals. Thank you so much for the comment. And it's an honor. It's truly an honor to spend this time with you and to learn and grow with you. I really appreciate you. Thank you for all your support. And I'm glad you're learning, because if you're not learning, like if you've been following me since November and you're not learning, I obviously should just take the seal, take the Mandalorian and just, retire somewhere. I'm glad you're learning. I really am. Oh man, I'm down for that. Man. I really am down for that. It would the coolest thing in the world would be to throw a biggest bash, XRP bash in Hawaii. XRP goes to $500,000 or something, and everybody that watches my channel are financially wealthy. That would mean the world to me. That would I want to have a positive impact on people's lives, and that would do that. I would feel so much joy, if that happened. Brother, I'm serious too. Let's do it. Big Island would be pretty cool. I mean, any island is pretty cool. We got Chris Jelly coming, a member. Appreciate you, Chris. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate you. Thank you for supporting my channel. It means the world to me. Man, I don't know how to top that. I don't know how to top a new member joining the channel. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. I'll bring the boat and the music. Oh, see, look, man, you guys are gonna spoil me here. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Really. I really appreciate you. All right, let's do this. I will see you on Tuesday. I'm gonna have Edo Farino here, unless something happens to him, or he can't come. We are scheduled to have a live chat with him on Tuesday. That should be a lot of fun. I wanted to thank Ariana, Zelfernine, Curtis, everybody who's keeping the chat safe. Thank you for everyone who's spending this time with me. And I hope you're learning. I hope you're growing. And I mean, I hope you really have a great weekend. Spend some time with somebody you love. Maybe go buy a dog. That's always a good idea. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Take care.